The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 249th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show, and joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
Dude, I have been, and this is an apology to anyone, I've been super sluggish this week. I know you're not feeling well, so you got to sign this, but dude, I have been just there's no less than 10 things I need to do. There's no less than 3 items I need to mail out, and I haven't done it. And it's like the shit's packed, it's labeled, ready to go. Just don't feel like going to the post office. I literally just don't feel like doing anything. It's been a very long time since I felt this way, but it was just, I think with London and then last week in Lincoln, it's just, I think it just, this week has just caught up with me and I just need to rest.
But, yeah. I get you there. No, I'm dealing with seasonal allergy bullshit stuff. I thought for a second because I was worried I might get sick coming back from All Out. Wasn't the case. I don't think it was anything to do with that. I think it's just seasonal shit because it happens all around the fall pretty much every single year. But yeah, no, I especially felt shit last night and this morning. But I'm feeling a little bit better, hoping I'm good for tomorrow because I got to go to work and do high school football. But yeah, it was. I'm holding it together right now. Thankfully, I'm not stuffed up. But if you hear me stop talking for quite some time, I may be trying to clear up my sinuses.
Well, I absolutely hope you feel better. I am going to try to find me some stimulants to get me through the day. Dude, I want to read, I've been looking at my room, and my room has basically been the same for, 2-3 years now, and it's just I've got new figures, I've collected a whole bunch of new shit, and I want to redo it, and it's going to be... It's going to be a bit of a, project, but dude, I can't even start. It's just nothing sounds I sit down and I'm like, oh man, it's time to do it. And then I'll just start watching. There's this TV show called Bull. It's a TV show with Michael Weatherspoon. I'll just start watching episodes of Bull. And next thing I know, it's nothing's actually getting done. So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I know everybody struggles with this kind of feeling every now and then, but this week has been a shit week. I had an amazing time in Lincoln, Nebraska. Let me tell you, I'm not gonna.
It looked amazing from what I saw, dude. And also, you got to see Colorado, the biggest frauds in college football, take another garbage loss.
Well, Nebraska's actually pretty good, but okay. I'm gonna say this about it. It was a fun game, and if you ever get a chance, if you're a fan of college football, if you're not a fan of college football, this is not for you. But I think it translates to the NFL too. Go to a college experience and go to a rivalry game where you don't have any rooting interest. It's such a different experience. I went to OU, Texas, had the time of my life a few years ago. And then I went to Nebraska, Colorado, which I forgot was a rivalry because they literally haven't played it in Nebraska since 1992 or something shit like that. And they were so mean. And Nebraska, and all I kept hearing from Nebraska fans is we're not usually like this, but they were real assholes to us last year. So we're kind of getting it back. In the opening video, The dude's like, you can bring your Louis buckets. We're gonna bring Smash Mouth football. They talk shit in the ultimate video to Colorado. Literally,
hey,
I've been to Florida State.
Giving back what you take.
Yeah, I've been to Florida State, Miami, Florida State, Clemson, OU, Texas. I've been to some rivalries. I'd never seen anything like it. And then the game day atmosphere in Nebraska, amazing. So. With my wrestling bucket list mostly gone, Wrestle Kingdom still has to happen. But with my wrestling bucket list mostly gone, it looks like I'm going to start focusing on that part of my bucket list is to go to different universities, go to their campuses, preferably on rivalry weeks. Sometimes that's not going to be possible, but preferably on rivalry weeks and just taking that game day experience. It was just so cool being around all those Nebraska people. Very nice fan base. It was just fun. It was funny. I was coming back from the thing with popcorn, and this lady just reaches in and grabs popcorn from a thing, and I was just like, I just kind of looked at her and nodded. I was like, I guess this is cool. Whatever. I don't care. And we just had a really good time. It was just fun. Met some really cool people from Nebraska. My friend Justin took me. Met his family in Lincoln. They're fucking awesome, dude. I will never move to Nebraska. It is. It is. I gotta say it. There's no other way to say it. It's too white for me. I mean, there was. Woo! It was like when you're in a room and you just get a nod to the guy to let you know I got your back because it was just so many of it. Travis, I walked up close to Travis Hunter, and that dude is a large man to be a wide receiver. I mean, he was in cleats probably, so. Probably 2 or 3 inches taller, but he was a large man. And then coming back from Travis Hunter, Big E was there. And I got to say hi to Big E.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Man, that dude just shows up at college games all over the place. I met Big E at Ford Field for Penn State versus Michigan State.
Dude, I want that job. He just goes out, tailgates, eats food, and then goes to the game. He was like, he wasn't in his tailgate gear that I saw him in earlier. He was just like in a suit, so I could tell he was busy, so couldn't get a picture. But it was cool running into people in my world, and you could tell when I said Big E, and his eyes got big, like, a lot of people hadn't recognized him, you know. So,
oh wow!
So you could tell that was cool, but yeah, the whole weekend was great. Like I said, Texas, Michigan, definitely on my list.
Dude, Michigan's a whole nother level.
Happy Valley, Columbus for Ohio State. I want to go see them all. And the thing is, like I said, it's better to me when you have no rooted interest. You can just literally take everything in. I took a lot of pictures, took a lot of videos, and there was no stress on who wins or loses. Like, as a Florida State fan, who happens to be 0-2 right now, that's always the thing. Because I took a 20-hour drive to Atlanta for Florida State versus Bama. It was the year after we made the playoffs and got blown out by Oregon. And, DeAndre Francois was starting, and I was like, we got this. We want Bama. We want Bama. We did not want Bama. No, we did not want Bama at all. And I got to tell you, you want to talk about a mean fan base? Woo-wee.
Oh, yeah.
Alabama fans are not.
Bama Blitz.
They are not nice. Like, we lost. We're walking away with our tail between our legs. They didn't let us forget it. They were all up in our face. It was funny. My brother, who doesn't have the temperament that I have, I don't even know how we're related half the time. He almost got in a fight with someone, and I was just like, "Man, you won. You get to talk shit." I wasn't listening to him, but yeah. So yeah, that's it for that. I know I don't want to drone on too much about it, but college football, dude, it's like I've always, as much as my Chiefs are great. Much as my Chiefs are the team in the NFL, got to say that, I have always preferred college football to the NFL. I just like the pageantry, the passion. Honestly, hate. I love hate. I love outside.
The rivalries are way better.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. The hate. I mean, dude, the Nebraska people hated Colorado. They hated Deion Sanders. It was fuck you, CU, fuck you, Sanders, fuck you, Travis. I mean, from the student section. Which apparently that's not something they do.
Yeah, that's not too common for Nebraska.
That is not common. And most people say Nebraska are the friendliest people when you go away or home. They are so friendly and they take care of you and they make you feel.
And, dude, that's the Colorado experience. Colorado's become the most unlikable team in college football.
They hate Colorado. It was different. So and Colorado's offensive line. So as a fan of college football, not going to get too in the weeds, but last year they had an offensive line and it sucked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I pay attention to recruiting. I pay attention to college football. A guy named Bud Elliott, freaking genius. I follow him. And the one thing I noticed is they hadn't really brought in a lot of new people. It was still basically the same offensive line. But everybody was like, oh, they're going to the playoffs. They're going to the Natty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, this offensive line sucks. And it's like 4 of the same 5 guys from last year. And guess what? I watched Nebraska, and guess what? Their offensive line still sucks.
Yep.
I'm just like, yeah, I mean, hey, you can get the best skill positions ever. But if your front 5 cannot block their 4, you lose every time. I mean, you do not have to be a football expert to understand that. If their 5 can't block your 4, Nebraska in the second half just quit blitzing because they were getting home with 3 and 4. So I don't know. It was crazy to experience live. It was crazy to experience live watching with these fandoms, and I know I'm annoying because I'm even, so I was kind of like saying what both teams could do to get better, and the motherfuckers in Nebraska's like, we don't care what they can do to get better. We want to murder them. We want to score 100. We want to score 100, and it's funny because they never scored after halftime. It was 28 to whatever, and then they never scored again, and they didn't need to because it was over. But
it was over.
Yeah, But shout out to the people of Nebraska, my friend Justin, and that gave me a very positive experience. So I cannot wait to go to the next college campus, wherever that is.
For sure. All right, well, we got a lot to get to. Obviously, we weren't able to do a full all-out review because I was busy with work, and then I started feeling like shit. So
we were literally both out of town.
Exactly, yeah. So we're going to try to get through that as quickly as possible while also doing Dynamite at the same time. So it's going to be a longer show, but we're going to try to get through everything as quickly as possible. But before we get into the entire show, we want to make sure you guys are downloading this fine show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, whatever the case may be. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, turn automatic downloads on. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible. Check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowicz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Big news of the week has to do with the all-elusive TV rights deal that AEW has been in the works with, that we've been waiting ever so patiently to figure out what the future is with that. And the reports that have been coming out is that it's basically a done deal between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery. I know, Floyd, you have the full notes of what's being reported right now for what this deal is.
Andrew Zarian, who's pretty much his middle ground, as I've seen. He doesn't, lean WWE or AEW. When he has news, he reports it. He's the one that's reporting it's done. Dave Meltzer reported on his show that was done. I don't know if it was based on the Zarian report, but basically it's all due, and it looks like pay-per-view is going to be included. So on Max, I don't know if you're going to have to pay for pay-per-view, or as if you have Max, you're going to get it for free, or if it's going to be additional cost. But it looks like we're good, but it's going to be non-exclusive, which is going to lead to another piece of news we're going to have after we do the show. But it looks like it's going to be non-exclusive, so you may be able to catch AEW products somewhere. The one thing we haven't got is a number in the years, which is literally all that,
That's the biggest number.
The years matter to me. The number, it's like whatever, but the years is what matter to me. How long is this for? How long is the commitment from WBD? So we're going to see on that side, but it looks like, is like, as far as the WBD side, the deal is done. I guess they're just dotting their I's, crossing their T's. I've had to, based on like my look, I think if you're going to announce it, you announce it at Dynamite 5-year anniversary. That's where you do it. But again, I mean, once the I's are crossed, then the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Tony Khan might just come on to fucking Twitter and be like, "Oh, deal's done. Here you go."
Honestly,
so,
the way he's been acting.
Yes, no. So I don't know. I am glad that this is coming resolved. It has lasted longer than any of us has wanted. So, congratulations if congratulations are due, and I hope it's a deal. And there's gonna be discourse. There are gonna be people saying bigger number, smaller number. Oh man, AEW. There's still gonna be people saying AEW's dying. There's people that is gonna be like AEW's gonna be around forever. Truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead right now then and just get into the All Out review. There's not really too much I wanted to mention from the only thing I wanted to mention from the 0 hour portion of the show was Sky Blue came out actually in Chicago, and she had her crutches and she was dealing with injury. And then we had Mariah May, who I once the moment I found out that she was doing her Chicago, the celebration for her world title in Chicago, I brought my Mariah May shirt and I went crazy. And then she's like, "But I don't want to do it in Chicago." And then she proceeds to knock the crutches out from Sky Blue's legs, and then gets chased off by Queen Aminata. I just wanted to say that though, because the crowd for that was so funny, because it's just like, yeah, no, we're not worthy. We understand. We get it. You don't want to do it here. We get it. We're all like just like self-deprecating ourselves because Mariah is perfection, which I thought was very funny. I thought I was enjoying it with the people that were in our section. But the 0 hour stuff, you had some pretty decent stuff. With the Acclaimed and the Iron Savages getting some good work in there. Premier Athletes had Hologram, Dustin Rhodes, and Sammy Guevara. Hologram, honestly, in this one, I thought had a couple moments where he maybe struggled a little bit, but other than that, he looked pretty good. And the crowd loves Hologram too. That's for damn sure. Trios match versus Dark Order and Bang Bang Game was also pretty quick. And then the Undisputed Kingdom versus Action Andretti and Top Flight, and then the Beast Mortos and Shane Taylor. I was just hyped because I got to go see Shane Taylor because that dude's a beast. But yeah, no, I thought 0 hour, they threw like 4 0 hour matches on in like the day of the show. It threw me off, and I was just like, Jesus Christ. And again, it's the problem of having All In, All Out, and All In so close to each other. I still don't agree with it, which is why I'm happy All In is going to be in July this year.
Well, speaking of Shane Taylor Productions, I really don't have anything to add to the pre-show. Mariah May was amazing. I just wanted to say congratulations to my boy, Anthony Ogogo. New baby girl. New baby girl was born.
Congratulations.
On Friday. They announced it today, though. So she was 5 weeks premature. So just shout out to Mr. Ogogo. You know I love you. You know you're my favorite, one of my favorites out there. So, he's a good dude. So happy for him.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then the one thing I want to say before we get into the actual show, like the main card, is that I saw someone post this, and it was honestly an amazing point that they made, and I want to pass it along to you. I know your gaming extends to college football and Madden, and that's about it. But that being said, someone made a great post in regards to All In and All Out, where All In this year was like the Ocarina of Time, feel good moments and all this type of stuff, and it's the original. But then you had All Out, which was Majora's Mask, which is like reused assets, released very close together, but Majora's Mask is so much darker than Ocarina of Time. And I was like, that you couldn't put that in better words. That All In was Ocarina of Time, All Out was Majora's Mask. I thought that was just an incredible analogy that someone made. I can't remember who came up with it, but I think it might have been Matthew actually who said it, or at least retweeted it. But I just thought that fit in perfectly because holy fuck, this show was absolutely bonkers from start to end. I believe you're muted, Floyd.
Yeah, I heard someone else put All In is for dreams and All Out was about nightmares.
Yes, correct. That's another good one.
Yeah, so I was like, that one. That one would more resonates with me because I had no idea what you were talking about.
I knew you wouldn't, dude. I knew you wouldn't.
Like I was like, what? Ocarina? What?
You mean Cody's favorite video game?
Oh yeah, I know that, right? Yeah. Cody also has like 3 college teams. Don't want to talk about that with me and Cody. He's like, I root for Georgia, Michigan, and Texas. I'm like,
you can't. You just can't.
What? No, I love my Cody, but we're not going to talk sports. You don't got one. If you got 2, you don't got one. That's how I see it.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, and then we move on to the main card of the show, though, which started off with MJF versus Daniel Garcia, which MJF comes out and has the giant banner that jumps up behind him, and as soon as that banner dropped, that just said, I can't actually remember what it did say. I'm blanking on it. What it said, the banner. It said, "Thank me later." That's right. It said, "Thank me later." And then that right as that banner dropped from behind him when he did his entrance, Daniel Garcia jumps him. They did some really physical stuff in this match. I loved how MJF got so much heel work in this as well. Garcia wrestling one of, I think, my favorite matches that I've seen him do. Like taking strikes and all this type of stuff. I loved also the usage of the Walls of Jericho and the LaBelle Lock in the match between both of them. Then as the match goes on, like basically both of them were out to break each other's necks. It was something that was very much the case. Garcia was looking to do it off of the top rope. And basically, as it goes on, MJF then proceeds to shove the referee after he kicks out of a jumping pile driver. Low blow to Garcia, takes the pinfall, and Garcia loses. But then MJF does the sportsmanship and extends his hand. He goes for another low blow, but MJF proceeds to get kicked in the dick by Garcia. They get up to the top turnbuckle. He proceeds to spit in his face and then pile drive him off of the top rope. And the spit stuck to his face, which was just a beginning of the disgusting stuff that you got to see on this show, because holy shit. Really good opener, honestly. Like I said, I didn't get what I wanted, which was the world title to open, which I knew, like, in general, probably wasn't going to happen. But this, though, was a good match to open up, all things considered. And I think Garcia really shined in this. Even in the loss, he shined a lot in this.
DG, this is probably one of his best matches in AEW. I thought MJF was everything he is. When he talks about being a generational talent, this is what he's talking about. Like, when you talk about being a generational talent, you're talking about you can be put in any position and make it feel important. You don't have to be in the main event, the world title match. You don't have to be in this. He's in a feud with Daniel Garcia, somebody that, a lot of people love, but he has, his booking has been uneven. And this match, they will go out there and put on an amazing match. He shows that he's smart. He catches them trying to kick him in the nuts, and then he pile drives them off the second rope, which is amazing. He got his just desserts back. I love it. And that's great. I'm sorry. I gotta say this. Proclivity of positivity, all about positive, everything. I love this world. Before I can take Daniel Garcia as serious as a main eventer, before he can really take that next level up, dude,
he's got to get rid of the dance.
No, like 20 pounds, man.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The dude is he is bigger than when he debuted, but he's still so small to me. And I'm not saying you got to look like you're in the WWE, but I mean, wrestling's a cosmetic business, so give me.
Hey, man, I mean, if you can complain about that for Daniel Garcia, I can complain the fuck about it for fucking Jack Perry, who's significantly smaller.
It was coming. That was coming too. It was like when you look at the future of the company and you hear Daniel Garcia as part of the future, you hear Jack Perry is a pillar and all that stuff. It's just like, Who's buying Jack Perry beating Takeshita? Are you really buying that? Like,
no. And if you are, you're lying to yourself.
Because you're looking at Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay. They're the future, and they're so much bigger than him. It's just like so much big. Even Daniel Bryan, who I've said in regular clothes, he is the most plain-looking, regular-looking person I've ever met. Looks huge compared to Jungle Boy.
Yes.
And that's all I was saying. Or Jack Perry. I keep calling him the wrong name. It's just like it's a cosmetic issue, and I just think it's like if those two people end up being the face of your company, looking like they do now, you will always look minor league.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll move over now to the tag team title match between the Young Bucks and Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. It's interesting watching this match back, considering what happened later on the show, I will say. But they did some really good stuff on this. I think this is just tag team wrestling done very well. Obviously, the Bucks do good at what they do. Claudio and Wheeler Yuta is a nice little tag team. I will say, though, despite how it was a solid match, I completely forgot about it. No joke. I had to rewatch the show just to remember some stuff about it because, I mean, it was immediately overshadowed by like nearly 70-80% of everything else that was on this show.
This was a match that happened that was good at the time. And I remember like, man, I really like this tag match. I'm going to talk about it on the show. Then the rest of the show happened.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh yeah, it happened. You know, the Young Bucks retained. I thought Yuta was good. I thought Claudio was good. I thought they were all good. And it was just, you know, there you go.
Yeah, and we knew who was going to win, which was the Young Bucks. So we'll move over now to the International Championship match. The Aerial Assassin Will Ospreay versus the Bastard Pac. What a fucking match. We need new words. Yeah, I mean, like, again,
I need to get on the internet.
I need to get a thesaurus right now in front of me and proceed to find different ways to say the same thing. Every time I see Will Ospreay in person, he blows me away every single time. It's like I'm seeing him for the first time again. And Pac, like, I remember when I first saw him at All Out 2019, and it was his first match in AEW against Kenny Omega. Not Kenny Omega, Orange Cassidy, I should say. No, it wasn't Orange Cassidy. No, it was Kenny Omega. Yeah, it was Kenny Omega. Yeah. Orange Cassidy was the Revolution match. I'm getting my matches confused. But, man, when Pac showed up, I was like, dude, this guy's unrecognizable from when he was Neville. And he's been so good, and I've wanted more from him, and this match was just spectacular stuff. The final moments of this match I have saved on my phone, from the Hurricanrana off of the top rope that Ospreay lands on his feet, hits the hidden blade. I couldn't believe he kicked out after that. Pac was just ridiculous. Then you had the amazing counter out of the Tiger Driver, and then you proceeded to have another great counter where he proceeds to fight out of it to hit the Styles Clash, and then the hidden blade. Dude, I mean, it's insane. He, like, the things he can do should not be possible. And man, I'm dying for when we get Ricochet, Will Ospreay at some point. I'm dying for it. One of my favorite matches of the show, by far.
This was my second favorite match of the show. Again, I need you need to find young people younger than me to come up with new words for it. But I'm starting this. This is the first time I've said it. I made sure not to say it in any of my chats, so no one have heard it. 5-star matches now are officially called Ospreys. You had an Ospreay. That match was an Ospreay. He does it so effortlessly and so often that it's just crazy. Mm-hmm. And he does it with a variety of different talents from different sizes, different shapes. He just blows it away. This match, Dave Meltzer said, was one of the best matches he's ever seen, right? In my opinion, probably his 5th best match this year.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's like, it's funny. Every time Will Ospreay wrestles, Meltzer's scale gets reset every single time.
Yeah.
I don't think it was his best match, but god damn it if it wasn't incredible. Like,
dude, when he was going for the I think it was the Styles Clash.
Yes.
And he did that, and then the reverse Rana or the roll up at the end of the match. There were so many spots, dude. Dude, I can't. Sam, I don't know if you're listening. I can't. You should do a AEW match guide show at the end of this year, just about Will Ospreay matches, because this is the best in-ring performance year in AEW history. And I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
I mean, Takeshita, that's my favorite match of the year. Again, I understand. I can honestly say Danielson and Ospreay was probably a better match. I enjoyed Takeshita and Ospreay more. And then you had Swerve and Ospreay. Then you had Ospreay and MJF, the Dynamite one, not the one at All In, which was still fucking phenomenal, but the Dynamite one where they went an hour was amazing. And then you had this one. So if you want to move this one up to 3 or 4 or whatever, if you take the 5, throw in a hat, draw one of them can be a match of the year. If you're doing your AEW match of the year at the end of the year and Will Ospreay is not in it, we don't watch the same thing.
No, it's not the same.
We're not watching the same show. I don't know what you're watching. I was not this big a Will Ospreay fan before Will Ospreay came. I knew he was going to be great. He came from New Japan. I've always enjoyed his matches. But, oh my God, this dude has snatched my heart. And it's like, I don't like the color green. I don't buy it. I don't have it. Dude, I bought Ospreay shorts to go with my Ospreay shirt.
Yeah.
This dude is on another level. When you talk about an understatement, when he says he's on another level, that is the understatement of the year.
Of the decade.
He is on this run that may never be touched as far as wrestling. I always thought Shawn Michaels WrestleMania run from 21 to 20 when he retired. I was like, man, that's one of those runs that'll never be touched. Will Ospreay's 2024 AEW run, only person's going to beat it is Will Ospreay. Because think about it. He hasn't done a match with Okada in AEW. He hasn't, Kenny Omega in AEW. That still hasn't happened. They're going to have another match.
There's still so many left, dude.
Yes. Ricochet, it's probably going to happen this year. Still got to run back to Takeshita. I could keep going on. This dude is on this level that no one will touch.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it blows my mind every single time. He's absolutely incredible. And Pac as well, dude. I'm so glad that guy got to shine again because he's just so far and away good. We then had the Chicago street fight between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander. Now, I was worried.
This was my match of the night.
I was so worried that the crowd was going to be dead after that Ospreay match that I was just like, you guys got to give these girls what they deserve. That was not the case. They killed it. We've had some incredible street fights in AEW, especially the women's street fights have been on an unbelievable run. This one might be my favorite. I'm biased. Obviously, I was there, but oh my God!
You say you're biased.
Blew me away.
This is my AEW Women's Match of the Year. I mean, I wasn't there, and this was my AEW Women's Match of the Year. That pounce through the guardrail,
dude. There's so many different spots. The pounce through the guardrail, the table spot, the splits on the tacks, the splits on the thumbtacks, the GCW light tube shot. The amazing dive off through the tables off the side of the stage, which was right the fuck in front of us because we were right by the ramp. It was incredible, dude. They then brought out a dog collar and then they were tying around. That was the only part that I thought was a bit of a bummer with how they were trying to get the dog collar tied to each other's wrists. Mm-hmm. It took a little bit of time. That was the only thing that was a problem, though. Everything else, though,
yeah, I think they should have saved that for an eventual dog collar match, which them doing a women's dog collar match would be amazing. This match was perfect in my mind. No notes. I had it absolutely at 5 stars. Willow and Chris killed it. this is one of those ones where it was even more impressive because of what they followed. And I even said this year, it's impossible to follow Will Ospreay. I stand corrected, ladies. Because they came out there and
shouts out to y'all.
They showed you how to do it. They went straight into the action, straight into the big spots. You weren't allowed to come down from Will Ospreay.
And now you understand why I hated the fact that the Mercedes match followed Ospreay. Because if you had the coffin match follow it, gimmick match, you're much better off. Like, obviously, this match was significantly better than the coffin match, but, like, even still, a gimmick match has such a better chance of actually surviving and getting good responses after an insane Ospreay match than just a regular women's match or a regular match where the heel is going to go out on top and everyone knows the heel is going out on top. Like, now you understand why I felt like that was a wrong decision booking-wise.
Absolutely. Completely understand it. These ladies stepped up. They knocked it out of the park. They were put in an impossible position that a lot of other people just wouldn't want to be put in, and they killed it. And it's even more of a credit to Chris Statlander and Willow. The only thing is, it's funny because someone asked this, and I'm like, where do you go? Where do you go with Chris? Because both of the champions that are women are bad guys. So is she going to go after a bad guy? Because originally it was supposed to be the AAA title. And I was like, oh, okay, she could walk around with the AAA title and that would be cool. So I don't know what they do with Chris. They have to capitalize on her being hot right now. And Willow is amazing. I don't see much of a contender for me other than her for the AEW Women's Wrestler of the Year. I mean, as of September, we got a few more months left. Toni Storm's had a great year. Mariah May's had a great year. But right now, I think Willow's my front runner for AEW's Women's Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, no, seriously, dude. I mean, they outshine so much. Excuse me. So much more than what people expected this match to be. And dude, if this had to have been at least top 3 on the show for anybody who saw it. And yeah, dude, I think this was personally my favorite match as well. I think this match was just incredible.
Just hats off to Chris and Willow.
Absolutely.
They fucking killed it. They did the damn thing.
We had a little bit of a tease between Ricochet and Will Ospreay, which I thought was nice. And then we moved over to the Continental Championship 4-way between Kazuchika Okada, Orange Cassidy, Konosuke Takeshita, and Mark Briscoe. Fun, really fun match, but of course the whole match hinged on the teasing of giving us Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. And every time we got close, dude, it was just, we were going bananas. I also love the fact that the match started with everyone hitting suplexes and Orange Cassidy basically working his way trying to suplex somebody. It was just a weird little spot that they decided to go with, like, in the beginning parts of the match where everyone's hitting suplexes, but Orange Cassidy just can't do it. And eventually when he does, it gets a good pop. It's like simple stuff that they were able to get over. But it was really, really nice. I loved Orange Cassidy's involvement in the match itself. I got a sneeze coming on. It's trying. Nope, it's not going to happen. Whatever. God damn it, dude. It's the worst. But yeah, no, Orange Cassidy being the wild card in the match I thought was really, really fun. Goddamn, Takeshita still looks incredible, and it's so good to see him in a big match kind of situation like this. Eventually, though, Okada is able to get the Rainmaker on Orange Cassidy, and he hits it on him, and then he retains the title. Again, predictable, but it was fun. I thought this match was really fun. I think it did a good job of getting the tease of Okada versus Takeshita, which is the thing that we're all waiting for. And again, Okada continues to be the best part of the Elite. In fact, the only good part of the Elite.
Dude, when Okada, it's so funny. When Okada wrestles, like, I know a lot of people have not liked the silly shit he's done backstage, bitching and all that stuff, saying bitch and all that stuff. I personally like it, but, you know, I like a little sports entertainment with my wrestling. So, hey, he's finding a way to, adhere to American fans that don't know who he is. But when he gets in the ring and he throws that Rainmaker and he throws that beautiful drop kick and all that stuff, that's for all that stuff. Once he gets in the ring, that's for the people that have been fans for him for years, because that's who he is. That's the Rainmaker. He is in ring performance. I mean, can he cut a promo? Sure. Can he do this? Sure. But what makes him the Rainmaker? What made him one of the highest drawing people in New Japan history or whatever? And what made him the 100-time champion or whatever? Is that dude can go in the ring. And the little taste that we got of him in Takeshita, that little tease of him in Takeshita, dude, that was amazing. It's funny. I'm selfishly, and this is going to be super selfish, I hope they don't do it in New York, because I can't make it to New York. I can't make it to New York. I can't go.
That needs to be on a pay-per-view, man. It can't just be Grand Slam.
It got to be Wrestle Dream. Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you do it at what's the Wrestle something, the show after the Tokyo Dome, the show of the Tokyo Dome.
What is it called? I don't remember.
It's not Wrestle Dream, I believe, or it's not Wrestle Kingdom. It's WrestleCade, I think it is. Is that what it's called?
No, WrestleCade is in November in North Carolina. Hold on just a second. I'll be able to tell you in just a second.
I'm dying over here, man.
Let's see. No, it's not on AEW's list because
I would assume it's because it's a New Japan crossover show.
Yeah, but I figured they, still have the ability to Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome. God damn it! What's it called?
I know.
What's it called? Well, it's called Wrestle Something. Okay. Wrestle Dynasty.
Wrestle Dynasty. That's
because I was like, it was a word that I knew it was a show name that had been used by AEW this year, so I couldn't remember what it was called.
Yeah, no, yeah. I was just gonna say that would be a spot where I could see that match happening. Actually,
yes, absolutely, I agree.
We then had the TBS Championship match versus Mercedes Moné and Hikaru Shida, with Camille banned from ringside. This washed the bad taste out of everyone's mouth of the Britt Baker match, I will say. Hikaru Shida, I think, did really well. There was a point where, Shida kicked the living fuck out of Mercedes, kicked her in the head, and it looked vicious. And she had to roll out to the ring because she basically got nearly knocked out. But this match was significantly better. Shida did a really good job, I feel like, and she still shows why she's the ace. It could have been better, obviously, but I will say though, this was after what we got with the tough match that we got from All In. This was significantly better, so I just wanted to point that out.
I thought the match was fine. Only thing I'll say this, and this is my nitpick, is she needs to get in the ring or whatever, and then either find out a way to hit her finisher clean every time, or get a new finisher.
Yeah, the finisher, I know that a lot of people that are not a fan of. Not a fan of it.
I will tell you, I am fine with the finisher because I saw it when I saw the concept when it initially came out, and it looks amazing. All the work is on the person taking it, right? You literally have to adjust yourself and get yourself basically in DDT position.
Yeah.
And it never fucking happens. So I'm just like, either figure out a way to do it with everybody else or change it up a little, because it literally, you could go out there and have the 7-star match of a lifetime. The finish is going to kill the match because it looks so ugly every time she does it.
Right, exactly. But then we moved on to the quote-unquote main event, which was the match between the world champion, Bryan Danielson, versus the scapegoat, Jack Perry, which I made sure to go take a piss during his entrance because I significantly used my time a lot better when I did that. I thought it was fine. I thought it was I'd be lying if I said it wasn't a good match. I'd be lying. I'd be a prick if I said that they didn't wrestle their asses off. Perry especially was selling like a motherfucker. The psycho knee he took, he's just flipping everywhere. The moments where he's doing the kicking Danielson's head in and doing the yes chants, it's easy, but it's effective. So I thought that was nice. Danielson firing up, I thought was really good. My favorite spot of the whole match was when Danielson is getting slapped multiple times by Jack Perry, and he's just slowly walking towards him, and then bitch slaps the motherfucker.
Yeah,
and then
you were living vicariously through Bryan Danielson at that point, weren't you?
maybe a little bit. But I was more so just like, again, I was frustrated that he was even in the match in the begin with. And again, it continues my same problem, which is that, you know, when he wrestles, people are more concerned with chanting shit as opposed to actually watching him wrestle. You'll get the "Oh Cry Me a River" chants, which is the only thing that is over. But again, I don't think that's because of him. And then B, you have people trying to chant CM Punk and then getting booed out of the building when they try to chant CM Punk. Because again, try to move on. But that's all he has. That's all he has. Danielson, though, nice first title defense. He gets the pin. He gets the victory with the Busaiku knee after he kicks his head in repeatedly. And then that's the finish of the match. But honestly, I cared more about what happened after the match than what happened during the match. But it was fine. It was a good title match that was thrown together in 2 weeks with little build, but it had some good moments in it. Danielson is amazing, and Jack still can sell his ass off and is a good wrestler at the end of the day. He should never be close to the world title picture as long as anybody remotely close to the level of Bryan Danielson is holding it. And that's just how I feel.
The scapegoat was sacrificed to the goat.
Oh, that spot too, I hated it. Where he's trying to, like, I'm like, oh, okay, so now you're just going to steal stuff from Bray Wyatt? Okay, sounds good.
So, what I'm saying is, in between those ropes, I have never had a question about Jack Perry. And I never will have a question about Jack Perry. Inside those 4 ropes,
oh, he's good.
That dude is exceptional. Any other problems you have with him, I understand. You're allowed to have your feelings or whatever.
Yeah. But again, you can see in the match the levels to this shit, right? How like Danielson is like far and away so much higher on that level. And then again, we talked about the size issue with Daniel Garcia. Jack Perry needs to fucking like get the muscle suits that you get from like Party City. Like he needs that because the dude looks like a fucking twig.
And I was gonna say, everything I might say about his size, about everything, when he is in the ring, I have no doubts that he is the man. And he took that fucking knee like a champ. The psycho knee never looked greater ever than when he did that. So I want to give him his props. But yes, the thing everyone's talking about and will be talking about for like years to come is what happened after the match.
Absolutely. So afterwards, Killswitch comes out and Luchasaurus comes out. Like Luchasaurus, Killswitch comes out and he knocks down Danielson. And then he proceeds to stare at Jack Perry, which I'll touch on this when we get into Dynamite, I will say. Because I actually have something that would be interesting that involves Jack Perry. And I will pitch it to you and you tell me what you think. But this is what I feel like would be an interesting use of Jack Perry that I wouldn't hate. Because I'm not just a snarky little bitch. I would actually have an interesting feeling about this if Jack Perry did it. But we'll save it for the Dynamite review. After Jack Perry is staring at Luchasaurus or Killswitch, after Danielson gets knocked out, Christian Cage and the Patriarchy comes out. He's looking to cash in his contract for a world title match that he won at All In. But that's when the BCC and Jon Moxley come to the defense of Bryan Danielson. They back away. The Patriarchy backs away. Danielson's doing the yes chants in the ring. And both me and my sister Sydney are standing right next to each other. And we're going, Danielson is so fucking dead right now. I'm like, he is so dead right now. They pose in the ring, and then Claudio European uppercuts Danielson. He sits down on his butt, looks up at Claudio in just pure confusion, and then that's when Jon Moxley tried to kill this man and took a plastic bag and tried to suffocate him. Full on doing. I'm trying to remember the spot that it was that it called back. It was Terry Funk, right? It was a Terry Funk spot, right? With the plastic bag. I'm pretty sure that was something that happened before. But then Yuta is devastated. He's trying to help Danielson, but Pac is holding him back, and he's got tears in his eyes. Absolutely heartbroken. as Moxley is just suffocating this man. And he turns, the BCC, other than Yuta, turns on Danielson. And right then I were like, okay, so Danielson versus John Moxley for the world title is going to feed families now. Absolutely insane moment. The This Is Murder chants that was chanted through the building was amazing. Again, Chicago, top tier stuff, as always. And that this was again another portion of just the insane dark shit that we saw on this show. It was just nuts. I couldn't believe that it was happening. And I'm so excited to see Danielson and Moxley for the world title. I think it will be fucking incredible.
This was a mafia movie. And the Don is getting old and he has to get taken out. I saw something like this. I think this was the movie American Me, when he one of the main characters gets killed at the end, where it's like your heart's not in it anymore. You're not a killer anymore. We got to do this my way. There is a new leadership, and the only way new leadership can join in is if old leadership is out. This is like there can't be two kings, and Mox didn't want to do it. He did it for the betterment of AEW. And we will see what's going on here. But that suffocate. Yuta selling it. Yuta crying and reaching out.
That was one of the best parts.
When hooked by Pac, who didn't want to hurt Yuta. Pac is just the guy. He's just like, this is my job. This has to happen. I understand you don't understand, kid. I understand that you liked him, kid. But this has to happen. And they put him out. And it was amazing. And it was beautiful. All they needed is like a violin playing over the light. Because this was such a epic way. John Moxley has me again. There was a time in the world, about a 1.5 year period, where Moxley was my favorite member of the Shield. Moxley was probably my favorite wrestler. He was that guy that was going to be my guy. And then they went a different way with his character, wearing gas mask and bullshit. This right here is the Mox I fell in love with a long time ago. The lunatic fringe. The motherfucker that will do anything. That plastic bag spot. Sorry if this adult TV show is a little too adult for you.
And again, it was a callback to Terry Funk choking out Ric Flair in the 80s.
Yeah, so here we go. This was the most beautiful thing. It was well done. Bryan Danielson deserved it. I'm Team Mox. I'm sorry. Hey, blood in, blood out. You get jumped into the gang, you get jumped out of the gang.
This is war, dude.
Yeah,
this
Danielson's
is war.
all like, oh, I love my family, I love my kids. That's not what the BCC was supposed to be. So, Mox is correcting course. And he's done what he has to do. And, oh my God. I mean, he's, like I said, he's the AEW Undertaker. You can put Mox in the world title picture anytime you want to. And he's fucking Mox. And he's making this work. You can tell he likes it. He likes it. And Marina Shafir has never looked more awesome than she does right now.
I agree.
Dude, I have a statement, but I'm not going to say it because I realize it's probably too far. So I'm going to not say it, but just know I'm a fan of Marina Shafir.
Yes, absolutely. And then the lights went out. And we had the steel cage match between Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. First off, the fact that they took the Burning House video and looped it during his entrance video, I thought was Hangman's was an amazing touch. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And then Swerve's got it plastered all over his back and his gear. Nana's still doing the dance, but it's not nearly as fun. It's much more reserved. Match was one of the most vicious matches I've ever seen in person. The beginning of the match literally starts with them trying to get the cage to literally drop on each other. Like they're trying to basically have them by the apron and then have the cage fall onto them, basically be slowly lowered onto them and crush them. Then we have the callback of the staple gun. Swerve doesn't give a fuck. He takes pictures of his family and staples it all over his Hangman's body. We then have a Swerve stomp through a table. We have barbed wire once again being used by Hangman around his arm. And then we have just amazing, vicious wrestling. Specifically, you have the cinder block get brought out. He gets dropped on his fucking back, and it just scrapes his back, and it's like one of the most heinous bruises I've ever seen. We have just incredible moments where the powerbomb off of the top rope that Swerve does. The moment where he literally takes off his grill and Hangman takes a needle and sticks it through his mouth, leaves it hanging there. We then have a steel chair being used, but Swerve once again continues to laugh. And then eventually, as it goes, a steel chair is taken, and he slams it against his head, and the chair just gives. And it goes straight through his head, and the ref calls for the match on a KO stoppage. And Hangman wins the lights out steel cage match. There's a moment, too, where he's walking up the ramp. He considers going back, but you don't know necessarily if it's because he feels remorse or if he wants to continue the damage. But there's a woman in the crowd who screamed like bloody murder when she saw him try to go back, like, "Stop it, you monster." Hangman's face at the end of the show is iconic. He's full psychopath. It is one of the most vicious matches I've ever seen in person. It leaves you with a weird feeling when you leave that building too, because my God, was it just brutal. And it lived up to every expectation people had for this match and for this feud. Just unreal. Just absolutely unreal. There was a sign in the crowd that said "for the sickos," and this match was 1000% for the sickos.
It is absolutely for the sickos. This match was rated NC-17.
Yes.
This wasn't R. This is NC-17. Put the children to bed. This is amazing. This is what, like someone, Joe Lanza from Voices of Wrestling, a guy I listen to quite often, I quote quite often, says what AEW's brand needs to be is that they need to do stuff that WWE won't do, can't do. This whole match was that. If you like adult professional wrestling, this whole match was that.
Oh, yeah.
And this was epic. Would I put it in my match of the year? No.
No.
Because I barely call it a match. It was a fight. It was destruction. It was death. And why did Hangman want to come back? Because the thing was that he once said is that he was going to beat Swerve until he begged. He begged for mercy. He never got that. So his win was great. He won, but he didn't win because he didn't get what he needed.
Yeah,
and that
Swerve
was
still would not say die.
He actually laughed at him right before he hit him in the head with the chair. Clean chair shot. And I want to post this because this match was amazing. Swerve, again, right there with Ospreay as far as performance of the year. He's in the conversation. His elevation has been stuff of legends. His elevation lets you know if you are anywhere in the AEW roster and you're willing to do the work and you're willing to be put in positions that you're not comfortable, that you might not be comfortable with, and then go ahead and knock it out the park, that you will get taken care of and you could be on top one day. That's what he has shown you. But a friend of mine, because the day after, there was a lot of things about safety and all that stuff.
Of course.
Safety. And he's like, should there be chair headshots in wrestling in 2024? And I had an answer, and I just, and it was simple. I trust the professionals to make the decision. When I'm watching Mission Impossible, right? and Tom Cruise is on the side of the building, and I know Tom Cruise does his own stunts, I'm not sitting there wondering, is Tom Cruise going to die? Or if Tom Cruise is going to be okay. When Toretto in Fast 7 jumped through a parking lot building and landed into it, never crossed my mind was Vin Diesel, the actual person, going to die. Because these are closed sets. They are professionals. They know what they're doing. Professional wrestling. These are performers that have safety professionals, HR, they know what they're doing. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let them worry about it because that's their job. My job is to watch wrestling and be entertained or not be entertained or whatever. But it's their job to worry if it's safe. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like
how am I going to tell them again? It's me trying to tell them how to do their jobs.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that. I have no like actual way of like telling you how to do your job.
That's what I said. It's not my business to have a take. I'm a fan. It's not my business to have a take. When Ricky Morton says those chair shots shouldn't happen, and other wrestlers get on there and say those chair shots didn't happen, you know what? That's between them and the people taking the chair shots. Me, I'm just a spectator. I personally don't want to get hit in the head with a chair. But I also don't do this for a living. So, again, I'm going to let these grown-ass men be grown-ass men. And I'm not going to be one of policing them. I believe in autonomy of the human body. I believe you have the right to do what you want with your body.
Darby Allin right there is just a full-on proof of that.
Yeah, you have the right to do what you want with it. If you want to get hit in the head with a chair, shit, I hope you understand the risk. But we don't sit here and say, man, you see that guy smoking? Does he know? And when I'm having my 40-ounce steak, be like, man, all that red meat, that's going to kill you. No. I'm a grown man. I get to make decisions of what I do. They're grown men, women. They get to make their own decisions without my input. That's all I got. That's all I got to say. And this match was a great. Like I said, if we go to match of the year, I don't even know where to put it. I'm gonna have to.
It's in a league of its own.
Yeah,
it's just so vicious.
It gets a special category, like attraction of the year. You know what I mean? Because it was something that, like, I'm going to talk about probably for the rest of my wrestling existence. That. The only way I would let a kid watch it is if we have a full conversation about what he's watching and never to do this to anyone ever.
Oh, yeah.
That needle in the mouth.
Oh dude, it was insane.
It was insane, and I fucking loved it. I'm a sicko. We're sickos. We're sickos.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we come for. Swerve Strickland understands what AEW. He is for AEW. AEW is for him. Hangman is for AEW. AEW is for him. They are home here because they can do that, and we're gonna love them. He took a fucking cop killer on a real cinder block.
On a real cinder block.
He took a cop killer on a cinder block. Fuck, I'm more worried about that than the chair. If I'm going to worry, that's the thing I'm worried about. I've had cinder blocks in my hand. There ain't no give.
There's no give. And you saw Hangman's moves after his fall.
Yeah, that's the part I'm worried about. If I'm going to worry about anything, if I'm going to be like, oh God, I can't believe it. Yeah, they fucking used a real cinder block.
Yeah.
Dude,
for sure.
Don't be worried about that. Take your hat off to them, bow to them, and say you're not worthy, because we were not worthy to see that.
It's crazy, absolutely crazy. This to me, I will say, because I will say to close out on All Out, this was their best show of the year. I feel like I think All Out is the best pay-per-view AEW has done this year. That's my biased to the nth degree because I was in attendance for it. But
I'm still riding with Revolution, but.
That's fair. That's fair. Stage retirement is going to be a big
yeah, then I got Takeshita versus Will Ospreay on that same card.
It's very much like it's a toss up. Yeah, but for me, that was the best show this year, just top down.
Yes.
We'll quickly now move over to Dynamite and try to go through stuff pretty quickly. Darby came into the building first looking for Moxley because Mox has been looking for him. The show opened with the patriarchy, Christian Cage, coming out with his family, and he talks about how, first of all, he said, word on the street from my son Nick is that Christian Cage has infinite aura, which I love because he said, he's like, I carried this company on my back for the past year and a half. But then he proceeded to say, in that gauntlet match, when Killswitch grabbed me by the throat, I saw into his eyes, the light bulb went off. In that moment, he realized what he is and what I need him to be. A monster, the most complete big man in this industry, and he is mine. The crowd is chanting for Luchasaurus, but he's like, his name is Killswitch. And then he's like, I'm on my way to get towards Bryan Danielson, but it wasn't the time or place. His days are numbered, and being suffocated is nothing to compare to what I'll do to win the AEW World Championship. And so he does a nice little moment there. And we actually have a moment in the crowd with Kip Sabian, who's in there. So that'll be a interesting little moment where we'll probably get Kip Sabian in a collision match or something like that. But it was interesting to see.
Dude, I have this idea.
I haven't seen him in forever.
I have an idea about Kip Sabian, but I was told by my friend Tyler, I told him to get a shout out, that I spoil too much stuff going forward. My guesses are on the big stuff are often right, which I think I'm way more wrong than I am right, but whatever. So I'm not going to even predict what I have for Kip Sabian, but I think everyone's going to like it if it goes down the way I think it will be.
There you go.
But yeah, I think Kip is going to be a big deal going forward.
Yep. We had a backstage segment with the Don Callis family, which was basically where Don Callis came up with the idea of Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher teaming together so they could win in the gauntlet match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship title opportunity, and they agreed to it. And then the show opened, like match-wise, with Jack Perry versus Lio Rush. I fell asleep, quite frankly. So you can go ahead and tell me about the match.
Jack Perry and Lio Rush is honestly what you think a Jack Perry and Lio Rush match would be. I'm not even trying to go against it. It was kind of there. Lio Rush did his flying shit, and it was amazing. Jack Perry hit that weak-ass knee. I hate his finisher.
Terrible.
No, and it's not that he does a knee. It's that he does probably the worst knee in wrestling.
Correct, because a knee can be a vicious strike. We've seen enough V-triggers to prove that. His knee strike is awful.
Yes, it like I said, it's not that it's a knee. It's that it's a terrible, weak-looking knee that looks like it should knock out anyone.
And again, you put Jack Perry into a ring with somebody who he's actually bigger than, which there's not many of them. Like, they had to get Marco Stunt back just to make him look bigger than somebody, because again, this guy is not believable in the slightest.
Yeah, I think that he has a finisher in him. He'll have to figure that out going forward.
The snare trap was a good submission finisher. I don't know why he doesn't keep doing the snare trap.
Correct. Lio Rush, I thought, was solid in the match, as he always, because I honestly think Lio Rush is one of the best wrestlers in the world. When you just, kind of take size out of it, because, I mean, he has put on as much muscle as you can put on that body. That dude looks amazing, but, he's, like 5'5", so ain't shit you can do with that. I mean, that's just genetics. But I thought it was fun. I thought it was a cool match. Jack Perry, they gave him the win back. He is the TNT champion. They got him moving forward, so hopefully he can move on to his next thing, whatever that is.
Yep, and actually do something with that damn belt. Hangman then gets interviewed backstage, and it's the first time we've heard from him since the Steel Cage Lights Out match. And he said, if I had found 1,000 houses that Swerve had called home, then I would have burnt them all to ash. If now I speak to everyone on this roster, if you got in my way and at all tried to protect him from me, I will find you and I will hurt you. He passes by the Dark Order. They'd say they don't even recognize him. Jeff Jarrett got into his face and then proceeded to say, you're going to regret the day that you put your hands on my wife, and you're going to realize soon that, like, your toughest battles and your toughest, most ruthless son of a bitch is the man in the mirror. Hangman was not about to listen to Jeff Jarrett lecture him, because he proceeded to brawl with him again, throws him onto a pile of chairs, and they're still fighting. So, I mean, those guys are still at each other's throats as well. But again, just don't cross Hangman. Just do not cross Hangman right now. Did you see what this man did? You don't think he would even consider doing something similar to you?
Dude, I thought this was great because I thought it was great mostly because it is coming from Jeff Jarrett, who is a lifelong heel, who has done the worst things in wrestling. So when he says you're going to regret doing all this bad shit, you can actually take his word for him because you know all the bad shit Jeff Jarrett done, the king of the motherfucking mountain. Plus, you know what, dude? We're going to get a good fight out of it. I feel like this is, like, I can say this, and I don't think it's spoiling it. I feel like this is going to end up leading to a Texas death match. Wherever. Because, you know, that's what Jarrett does, the walking brawl. And I think that's what it's going to lead to. And that's perfect for the Hangman. Because I was wondering where they were going to... You could have this epic battle with Swerve. Where are you going to go after it? Perfect guy to go after. Jeff Jarrett, a person that has kind of become the new Sting. Whereas he's the old guy that everybody fucking loves. And everybody wants to see win. So let's go.
Yeah. We then had a match that was just going to be a random match with Private Party and Commander, which more so gave me surprise seeing Alex Abrahantes actually was still doing stuff, considering Lucha Bros are no longer there. Did you
do him? He did the shots dance. He got low. He got low on that one.
He got well low on that shit too. Yeah. But before that match even began against the Jobbers, Jon Moxley, Claudio, Pac, Marina Shafir, they just chase out and assault everybody. Pac gets on microphone, and he kind of repeats a lot of the stuff that Jon Moxley in the video package at the top of the show said, how basically enough is enough. Pac goes, this company is broken. What happened at Saturday at All Out was inevitable. We are inevitable and a product of this festering environment. And as for me, I have been very lost for very long, but not anymore. I have a purpose. And he repeats what was said by Jon Moxley in regards to what he did to Danielson, which was that diplomacy has failed, ladies and gentlemen. And Moxley said, this is war. And Pac goes, this company is ours. I'm still very confused. I still need to know what the hell is the purpose for them doing this stuff. But regardless, it's very cool. It's very cool, and I want to see the developments of what their goal is and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, I know Moxley's. He wants to retire Bryan Danielson and take the title back to be the head of AEW again. But for the rest of the group, more so. But it was, again, this group is very interesting.
Yes. Again, how they came in, how they looked. Just freaking thugs. Again, the toughest looking person happens to be Marina Shafir. And she's just literally choking the shit out of Commander in the middle of the ring. Like everybody else is done and she's just choking the shit out of them. And oh God, I love it. And and then Pac just like, this is the perfect faction of four people. You want to talk about four people that have the best angry faces ever? Dude, like, all four of them. I walk down the alley and they're looking at me with that face. And again, Marina Shafir included. I am finding another alley to walk down.
Yes, you are walking somewhere else.
I am going to walk somewhere else. And like, cause it's just that they just have this aura to them, and it's like, honestly, this aura's kind of been missing from AEW. Like, period. They just have this badass aura to them, and it was amazing. And I was literally wondering, when they announced the match, when I saw the three in there and the three coming down, I was like, is this Rampage? And then, yeah, they fixed it.
Yeah, for real. All right, now before we get to the next segment, I do want to mention, because I did tease it, since we got through the patriarchy and we got through the opening match with Jack Perry, I want to present you my idea for Jack that I wouldn't hate, that would give him something to do. So, obviously Christian Cage is carrying around that contract, which gives him a world title shot. There was the tease of Luchasaurus finally breaking free of the shackles at All In, but then he didn't do it. So they're reinforcing the fact that he is still under the control of Christian. However, whenever Christian cashes in that contract, Luchasaurus should accidentally cost Christian, and Christian should be so furious at Luchasaurus that he's like, you know what? You got one last chance, basically. Your boy, Mr. Jack, has my TNT championship. Get it back for me, or you will face hell, basically. And Luchasaurus can kind of look a little bit hesitant and be like, I have history. That was my tag team champion partner, all this type of stuff. And Christian can basically, he doesn't have to say any of that, but just look like he doesn't want to do it. And then Christian can basically be like, I don't give a fuck what history you had or have. You need to bring gold back to the patriarchy. So beat Jack, win my title, and give it back to me. And then you can have a little bit of like tease between those two, obviously, where they're nowhere identical to what they were when they first came into AEW. So it's a very different feel to the match. I know it's heel versus heel, but it's more so heel versus babyface because everyone wants Luchasaurus to be babyface. So have Luchasaurus beat Jack for the TNT title. And as he's going to give it to Christian Cage, he refuses. And that's when Christian and the patriarchy turn on Luchasaurus. They then feud with him for the TNT championship. And then as he's facing Christian Cage, have Jack Perry screw over Luchasaurus. He realigns with the patriarchy, since the Elite have already had history with working with the patriarchy and Christian Cage. And then have him all of a sudden working with the patriarchy a little bit more often. And then gets the TNT championship on Christian. And then you've got that feud where like Luchasaurus and Jack Perry can have a decent feud. Or they can have Luchasaurus trying to work his way up to get back to Christian. That, to me, is stuff where you draw from the history of these guys as wrestlers and their time in AEW. There's stuff that you can pull from. There's beef and there's history there. And then at the same time, furthers the storyline of the TNT Championship, of Jack Perry, of Luchasaurus, and the Patriarchy. You get multiple things done there, and I wouldn't hate any of that. It would make sense for everybody involved. Me personally speaking, and I think it would fit better for Jack's character. But that's just me. Floyd, you can tell me what you think of my idea.
I dig it. I dig it a lot. I think do it. I'm all for it. But I will say this. It's kind of convoluted, and motherfuckers, you know how people are. They say they want something different, but you present them anything different, they're going to be like, well, that's too difficult. Why isn't he this? Why isn't he that? Why isn't he blah, blah, blah? But I actually like it. I like it a lot.
I think it makes plenty of sense, and considering some of the weird storyline decisions that AEW's done in the past, I think this is nowhere near as head-scratching as like other people would think. Because Christian did win the TNT Championship because of Luchasaurus, and it was given to Christian as he claimed he was the TNT Champion, even though it was 1,000% Luchasaurus. So I think it fits for all parties involved.
And then he won the TNT title from Luchasaurus in a triple threat match, which was hilarious.
Yes, it was absolutely funny. But that's just wanted to mention that just because, you know, everyone knows how much I hate Jack Perry, but I wouldn't hate that. I think it would be a good usage of Jack Perry.
Your boy, Jungle Jack. Your boy.
Not my boy. Excuse me. We then moved on to the Learning Tree, coming out with Redwood, Big Bill, and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith. He's wearing the $7,000 jacket that he got thrown into the hot tub full of orange juice years ago, back during the pandemic wrestling. And he came into the arena in a Bentley, and that's when he goes, basically, I have the jacket that Cassidy ruined, and he's also got his backpack. Now, the cash wasn't there, but I found something else that was interesting, and I'll quickly actually go through that moment real quick, since that storyline was a little bit later in the show. We'll get to that when we get to that, basically. But we then move on to Sammy Guevara versus Ricochet, which literally brought out a flip forever chant, which I thought was hysterical. It was nice to see Sammy back on Dynamite again. That's good to see him doing stuff. Ricochet, obviously, still doing things that are crazy. We're still getting to that build, like where we're gonna really let Ricochet let loose. But Sammy goes for the GTH, but then that's when Ricochet gets a axe kick, hits the Vertigo. That's what it's called. And then he gets the pinfall victory. But that's when Beast Mortos comes over and pounces on Ricochet, kills him. Sammy then tries to protect Ricochet with a steel chair, and that's when Mortos runs away. And then Sammy and Ricochet shows a sign of respect after the match. Beast Mortos and Ricochet is something that's already interesting just because Mortos can do things that most big men can't. And it's also a nice David versus Goliath idea. So I'm already interested in the idea. Plus, Mortos has been so fun to watch since he's been in AEW. So this match I thought was good. I thought it was a nice match.
I used the word fun. It was a fun.
Yeah, it was
match.
fun. Again, it brought out Flip Forever chance, so it was very fun.
To my guy Ricochet, Pretty Ricky, what they call him. You need a different finisher. But maybe that's just what you're using from now, and it'll evolve. I don't know. Y'all think 3 steps ahead of where I am. But the Vertigo, I don't ever buy that move beating Will Ospreay.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense when you say it.
Yeah, like, I don't buy that move beating Will Ospreay. And it's just, hey, do you. You're Ricochet. I know you're going to be phenomenal. I know the match is going to be phenomenal. Y'all will work it out. But the finisher looks weak to me as a fan. I don't know how everybody else feels. It just doesn't look that great to me. I'll do something else. I just, like I said, my faith in Ricochet being great is up there. It's right up there with Will Ospreay being amazing. Yes. I know they're going to put on a great match. I personally, as a fan, don't like his finisher, and I would change it as a fan. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they end up adding a little stank to it and getting it over. Maybe if he threw a spin and then landed with the Vertigo, I think that might be. I don't know if he can do it, but maybe add a little spin into it. Because, I mean, to me, it's like Falcon Arrow. I love the Falcon Arrow. But Takeshita, he does the 360 before hitting Falcon Arrow, just makes it look so much more dominating. So maybe throw a 360 in there before hitting the Vertigo. Again, just as a fan watching, I don't like it. But the match was fun, perfect. I love Sammy Guevara attacking Beast Mortos and doing that. So maybe they can even do something because they're both on ROH too. So Beast Mortos and Ricochet is going to be amazing because Mortos is a great base in wrestling, and then Ricochet can fly. So that's all great. I had no problem with that. It's just that little critique on this finisher.
Yeah, no, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Okada gave a great interview backstage where he's like, defending the title at All Out was the hardest night of my life. That was a lie. It was so easy. And that's when Takeshita and Don Callis come up and basically goes, you didn't pin Takeshita. And he's like, he will be a champion, but not the Continental Champion. He walks away, and then he gets right back in and goes, bitch. And that's when they got up in their face before Okada walks away. Again, the tease is tremendous. When we get this match eventually, it's going to be amazing.
They some big old men. They like dream matches thrown around a lot. I try not to. That's a dream match. If you're a fan of Japanese wrestling, Takeshita versus Okada is a dream match.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We then have Darby Allin calling out Jon Moxley since he's been looking for me. Marina Shafir and Jon Moxley come out to the ring, and Moxley's coming in basically being like, I got nothing with me. I'm unarmed. I'm not here to fight. Moxley basically goes, I don't know what you think you saw or what you think you heard, but nothing's changed between me and you. That's when Darby shuts them down, basically being like, listen, we both came from nothing. I don't take any of these fans for granted. We both wrestle the way that we wrestle because we never are... We are always grateful for everything that we've gotten. AEW has given me everything. And he talked about how he looked for a hero in his first year of wrestling. Every time I found that person, they showed me how fake they were. They showed me how their dignity could be bought, but not John. He wanted to be just like Moxley. He said the first time we met was in a high school gym on the Independence. I lost that match, but I gained the confidence to belong in a ring with someone like you. I could never do what you did to Bryan Danielson, though. So why are you calling me out? And Moxley goes, you have a title shot that you won in the Rampage, Royal Rampage match.
Yeah.
He goes, that's not going to happen because he's disposed of. And it's a good thing, too, because you're not ready. I don't have time to explain, but I'm going to need you to hand over that title shot to me. And he goes, are you stupid? Did you not hear what I said? Have you been drinking again? He's like, you didn't earn this, John. I earned it, and I'm not giving it to you. If you want it so bad, do something about it. And Mox is like, all right, I'll earn it. Me and you, New York City Grand Slam, your world title shot on the line. I will teach you another lesson. I will show you where you are on the food chain, far below me. You will never be AEW World Champion. I don't have time to explain everything to you right now. Trust me. And that title shot is going to be mine, and I'm going to teach you the lesson the hard way. And he accepts it, but Darby then proceeds to be like, I don't know what you're trying to pull around here, but if you're going to try to burn AEW to the ground, don't be surprised when I pull you into the fire. So, segment was good. This, though, is a bit confusing considering what happened later on the show, which I'll just mention it right now so we don't have
let's just talk about all together.
Nigel McGuinness came out and did a promo, and he basically challenged Bryan Danielson to a match for the world title at Grand Slam. So he wasn't disposed of. He's still going to be fighting Nigel McGuinness, which, first of all, getting Nigel and Danielson in 2024 of all goddamn times in AEW is a godsend, and I'm so excited for it. But if Moxley's whole purpose was that he got rid of Danielson so he could take that world title shot that Darby was supposed to have, Darby's still wrestling on the card. Then there's no reason why Danielson's still wrestling on the card, so there's no reason why Darby's title shot should be up for grabs at any point. It's very, very confusing.
Dude, yes. I mean, that's the simplest way. I could give you quite a few ways you could have got to this same conclusion without doing it the way they did it, but it's kind of like it's one of those that makes so little sense. You just throw your hands up in the air and say it's wrestling and move on. Because literally, that's how little sense it makes. It makes no sense. There's no real justification. Throw your hands up in the air, say it's wrestling, and move on. That kind of thing. And it's just like, I'm not that way. I'm very much let's kind of make this make sense. And it's just like,
right.
So now I can say this. They were doing this little thing because Excalibur is the best in the world at what he does. He has to say it. He did keep saying Bryan Danielson versus Nigel McGuinness if Danielson's available. He did say that, if Daniel's available. I have to throw that in there because they tried to throw something in there. Like, there is this chance Danielson won't be there. So they did try to cover their ass. But if he's available, he's wrestling Nigel McGuinness. Which, again, dream match? Dream match.
Absolutely.
Because I saw a post that said the last time they wrestled was September 26th, 2009. And they will be wrestling on September 25th, 2024. That even makes it make more sense. I think you could have made Darby look like a badass or looking like a really good guy if he just kind of stepped aside. Like, dude, if he would have been like, dude, I've always wanted to see this match too, that kind of thing. And it's like, I'll just get whoever wins or whatever, I can get who's next. There's a lot of different ways you could have done this. Now the plastic bag did throw a wrinkle into everything. So they did the best they could. They tried to add disclaimers on there to cover everything. So yeah, but yes, this makes very little sense.
Mm-hmm. That's basically how I feel. Like, again, I'm excited for the match.
Yeah.
But again, first of all, I know Darby's going to eventually get to the point where he becomes world champion because Moxley made sure to say you will never be world champion, which is code for he will be world champion. That being said, though, Darby right now has gone through some shit. He just lost his own match type to a shithead in a match that was very much rushed and was a one-spot match that was a waste of time. So Darby kind of needs a little bit of momentum right now. So as much as I know that they're going to kill it at Grand Slam, I need my guy to get some wins. I need my guy to be, once again, one of the top guys in AEW because I think he needs a bit of his momentum back, personally.
I completely agree with that. And like I said, if anyone says, if you're a WWE fan says your storyline makes no sense, blah, 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 correct. That's all I can say. Right?
Yep. We then had a quick.
Yeah, I can't make sense of it, so I'm not going to pretend to.
we then had Queen Aminata versus the Glamour Mariah May, which was teased at All Out. Mariah is perfect as anything, so was a really good match, I thought. A fun little match. Aminata has slowly improved as time has progressed, and I think she continues to get better and better. Mariah, after she gets the victory off the Storm Zero, she's like, I still haven't had my world title celebration, and something is missing. Someone is missing. And she goes, Mina Shirakawa, please come back. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, reunite you two lovebirds, please. Like, I love the tease of bringing Mina Shirakawa back and like what she's going to respond to with what Mariah has done. So I'm very interested in that. But yeah, no, Mariah's amazing. That's all I really have to say.
Yeah, it was a match that happened. It was fine. Yep. It was to get to that point. We think it's all leading to eventual Tony Storm coming back. But yeah, I love the Mina Shirakawa on my TV. Makes me happy.
Yes. We then had a really quick match between the Learning Tree, Big Bill, and Brian Keith versus the Iron Savages and Jack Jameson. The match was whatever, but Jericho basically goes, I'm here with my designer jacket that I paid $7,000 for that Orange Cassidy ruined 4 years ago. So I'm going to keep taking all of Orange Cassidy's things because I don't think you're going to give me back my money. So there was no money in his backpack, but what he found was a picture of you and your former best friends. That tore my heart open. Seeing that he still carried around a picture of him and best friends, all of best friends, Trent, Chuck, and, well, actually the one person that wasn't there was Rocky. I bet Rocky was just there for a little bit, but Chris Statlander was in there too. And it's just like, this is your problem. You're still obsessed with friendship. There are no friends in pro wrestling. Tip from the Learning Tree. If you think you have a friend, you're probably being used. Amazing facial expression from Big Bill as well. Love the way that he's like kind of looked down at Chris Jericho being like, what the fuck did this man just say? So he's like, forget about your friendships. Pay me my money. I want my cash. And that's when Orange Cassidy appears on screen being like, my boys are bringing you the rest of your cash. You have Mark Briscoe and Kyle O'Reilly on a front loader, and they have a bunch. What I thought they were going to do was I thought they were going to literally crush the Bentley. And I was like, oh my God. They did not crush the Bentley. They dumped a bunch of pennies, dimes, nickels, quarters all over the Bentley, which visually, not devastating to it. More like you just gave Chris Jericho a pain in the ass time of cleaning up his car, basically. It wasn't necessarily like, oh my God, you've destroyed his car. It's more so like you just wasted this man's like entire night. He's going to spend 6 hours cleaning coins out of his car. The keep the change chance was also very, very funny. And I thought it was nice. I thought it was a nice little moment. Like I said, it was not what I was expecting, but it was a cool, like, AEW needs more stuff like this, honestly. This huge moments.
This was an all-time terrible segment.
Oh, really?
Hey, dude, it was so boring. Nobody wants this.
Nobody wants Jericho. But
Jericho and
Orange Cassidy.
Jericho and Orange Cassidy together. I'm like, the pouring the coins on the thing aside, it was just, there was no heat whatsoever. There was no heat. No one cares about this. No one wanted Jericho and Orange Cassidy to wrestle again. I mean, dude, you want to talk about like, hey, I have nowhere to go. That's called being in a feud with Jericho.
Yes, correct.
And like, dude,
like I said, I liked the stuff that they did with Orange Cassidy with the picture being in his bag. I thought that was really well done.
Oh, and that was
and then the moment of them of crazy Mark Briscoe driving up in a fucking front loader and Kyle O'Reilly equally being as crazy on the top of that. The vehicle shit, like we haven't had that since like Sammy got ran over by a golf cart.
Yes.
That's what I'm more so talking about. The feud itself, no.
Oh, God, it has nothing. Oh, God, it has nothing. I'm just like, I like Jericho. I am not tired of Jericho. I don't want this feud. I think you can find something else better to do with Jericho. I think you can find something better to do with Orange Cassidy.
Correct.
Dude, have Orange Cassidy go after Jack Perry.
There you go.
Dude, that's simple. Something. This was a waste. I was like, you could have put anything in this 5 minutes and I would have been okay. I like car shit. I like destruction of car shit. But he just poured the coins on.
Like I said, visually, it's not damage. It's just a pain in the ass.
It's because what they do, they go on and they put that little coat stuff on it. The car probably wasn't even scratched up. But again, that's reality shit versus real. Even the visual was kind of lame. It was. Yeah, it was just like.
No, it was cool when he drove up in the front loader, and then when it was just coins in there, I was like, oh, that didn't work as well as it should have.
I'm all about Mark Briscoe being on my screen. He's probably been one of like my favorite outside of main event things on it because with the promos and all that stuff, his facial expressions, all that was great. I don't want this feud. And like this feud is not this is not for the sickos. The sickos don't want this.
Yeah, no, we do not want this. Quick little thing of Hook calling out Roderick Strong basically about how,
and I love this because he said he did this thing because at the beginning of the year Roderick Strong was pushed strong. He was breaking dudes' backs and all that stuff.
Know.
And he's kind of went back goofy and he's like, dude, I don't want goofy Roderick Strong.
No.
I want the backbreaker. I want the Messiah. And that's always my favorite Robert Strong. I want him backbreakering people.
I'm excited about that for sure. We then had the tag team casino gauntlet matches, the main event with the EVPs, Young Bucks, on top of the ramp. But the brand new chair merch that they have for AEW. I saw Floyd being like, those love seats, I need those right now.
Dude, it hurt my soul because literally I'm sitting in one. My amazing wife brought me this amazing office chair. Dude, if I had just waited just a little while. No, but yes. The idea that some of this furniture won't be in my house before December, if you don't think one of it's going to be in there, you don't know me well. I'm going to find a place for it. Yeah.
The match opened up, though, with Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay and FTR opening up the show. Opening up the match. We then had Vincent and Dutch was in it. The Undisputed Kingdom with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett were in it. The Acclaim came out. We then also had Eminem collection come out. So it was good to see Mason Mansoor on the show. Top Flight came out. Then the big one was the Outrunners. Everyone went crazy for the Outrunners. And then Grizzled Young Vets, I believe, were the last team that came in. I know some people were thinking another tag team could debut there. Specifically, the Hurt Business was what I heard all about.
Yeah, I was about to say, and I kept hearing Motor City Machine Guns, and I just want.
Dude, I'm like at this part, I'm broken. I'm never gonna get Motor City.
No, you're never. They're signed with WWE.
I know. I know what I mean. Regardless, like even though they're signed, I'm never gonna see them. They don't show up anywhere.
Yes, and that's like I was just like. Hey, man, I love all of y'all. I'm with y'all. I wanted Motor City Machine Guns in AEW, but it's reported like by multiple places.
That shit's done.
They're not coming to AEW. Why do y'all? And it's so funny because I realize sometimes the biggest problem with AEW's booking is that the fans fantasy book something and then they don't get the thing that was never teased. No one has teased Motor City Machine Guns. No one has put up 2 fingers. No one has put up signs from Detroit. No one has told you Motor City Machine Guns are coming. You decide Motor City Machine Guns are coming, and then they don't come. It's like, why did you promise us Motor City Machine Guns? They never promised you Motor City Machine Guns. So it was hilarious. People were so pissed online that the Motor City Machine Guns didn't show up. And I'm just like, no one told you
the fact that people were still going on about that, dude. I'm like, first of all, like I want Motor City Machine Guns more than anything. Right
yes, all my dream matches is FTR versus Motor City Machine Guns, Young Bucks again versus Motor City Machine Guns, Grizzly Young Vets. You could keep going on, all with the Motor City Machine Guns. I wanted it just as bad as everybody else. I reported it when I thought they were coming. I was like so excited, so pumped up. They ain't coming.
No.
They ain't coming. Let it go.
But regardless of the fact, though, this was a fun gauntlet match. I especially just love how over the Outrunners are right now. Just incredible moments. I also love how FTR hit the Shatter Machine on Bowens, but then every other team came in and everyone fell like in the center of the ring, and it's just like a pile of bodies.
Yes. That was Andre the Giant. FTR was Andre the Giant, and they had to go out after the biggest threat to the winning.
Yep. And then we had literally Grizzled Young Vets come out, and FTR starts brawling with them, and they just leave the match.
Yes.
Which I knew Floyd, I was like, we're looking forward to that match on Collision, but also like dumb babyface syndrome. You literally eliminated yourself on the match,
dude. It was on site. It was on site.
It was on site. Yes,
yes, it was on site, and I loved it. And I loved after the show, the Grizzly Young Veterans like, you cost us. We came in where everybody was already down. You took our opportunity away from them. Oh God, Gibby, Zach Gibson. You might hear me call him Gibby, because back in Progress days, this man's amazing. I fucking love him. He's so good on the mic, and when he cut that promo, it was like, dude, and it was so good. Grit your teeth, love it, and it was just like, it was the perfect tone. And now they're about to have a blood feud on Collision. They actually recorded Thursday, the 12th, so tonight technically. I am doing everything I can to avoid spoilers. If you tag me in a spoiler on that, we're probably not friends anymore. I'm just saying.
Honestly.
I am doing everything I can to... I literally work all night this weekend, so one of the things I have to look forward to is FTR versus Grizzly Young Veterans on Saturday. Unspoiled. That's what I want. We'll see how this works. We're going to see how it works out, because I'm also on the internet, so...
Yep. But then we have, again, the match finishes off with Ospreay and Fletcher. They win the match. They pin Dante Martin as Kyle Fletcher. The finish was awesome. How there was a knee strike into the hidden blade, I thought was really cool. And Ospreay and Fletcher will be facing the Young Bucks at Grand Slam in 2 weeks for the AEW World Championships. And this is where Kyle Fletcher will turn on Will Ospreay.
All right. I am going to say this. Get it out so everyone knows it's me. I don't want y'all to think I got
we
kidded.
all know what's coming, all right?
Yeah, we got that what's coming. You had 12, or I don't know what the exact number was, real established tag teams in this match. One of the hottest tag teams in AEW, the Outrunners. And you give it to the tag team of Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, which, after checking the makeshift tag team, they have not been in a tag team match in AEW, period. And the last match, they worked a 6-man match last June was the day right before this. I will say this, and I will make this very quick. Prefer is such a soft word. I want real tag teams, established tag teams, to be featured. I was like, this could be Top Flight, this could be the Outrunners, this could be
mainly the Outrunners. I feel like
mainly the Outrunners, but I was like Top Flight, and then of course my friend, my very even person told me like no one's hot in their division, so no one's hot.
That's wrong. Outrunners are so hot right now.
But I said not a lot of people are hot, and this is what I said to this. I don't remember the last time someone got hot not wrestling.
That is correct, yes, because they've been only wrestling on the other shows, not Dynamite.
No, I was just saying, just in general, like in wrestling, you don't get hot not wrestling. You get hot in matches. Daniel Garcia got hot losing a bunch of matches. Takeshita got hot losing a bunch of matches. Willa Yuta got hot losing a bunch of matches. You put any of those teams in with Young Bucks, have them take them to the brink. The Young Bucks screw them over. That's how you get tag teams hot.
Yes.
So, okay. But again, I could go down a long path of this. It's a lot of what you've already heard before. Kyle Fletcher, you've heard how I've glowed about Will Ospreay. So you understand this is not personal. This is not me not liking Will Ospreay.
No, this is something that's been the case for years.
Kyle Fletcher is the future of this business. And if him and Mark Davis won that match, you wouldn't hear shit from me. Not a thing from me if him and Mark Davis won that match. I just hate when the tag team division is used to further single storylines. That's it. Especially when it comes to the titles. You can have tag team matches outside of it. But I'm done. I'm not going through this again. I'm banging my head against this wall that I'm never going to, it is never going to change. I'm banging my head against the cinder block. So I feel like Hangman, my head feels like Hangman's back. So I'm just going to go back to what I said. It's going to be a banger when they do the match. It's going to be amazing. If that's all you care about is amazing matches, that's great. I'm looking at a bigger picture other than that.
Correct. That was AEW Dynamite. So real quickly, what we have coming up for Rampage and Collision. The Conglomeration will face the Dark Order. Konosuke Takeshita faces Action Andretti. Saraya and Harley Cameron faces Marty Bell and Allison Kay. Roderick Strong will be facing Beef. And then Camille will be facing Robin Renegade. Those are the matches that are for Rampage. And then for Collision, of course, FTR, Grizzled Young Vats, the match that we're all looking forward to. And also, this was just announced today, Serena Deeb versus the returning Yuka Sakazaki.
So apparently there was like visa issues, and now she's cleared to return back to America. So Yuka, and I'm hoping they can actually establish her and give her like a long-term storyline.
I agree.
Because she comes in, does one match, and then goes away. Yeah. Oh, dude, guess what I just saw on my Facebook?
What'd you see?
Today is Brian Keith's birthday. Happy 33rd birthday.
Happy birthday to that bad.
Because it's Friday the 13th. So if all of you if any of you are superstitious, that's, today is not your favorite day. I am not at all. So, except when it comes to sports,
Correct.
Got to wear my Chiefs jersey.
Yep, and then for next week on Dynamite, we've already got 2 matches announced. A trios match between the Young Bucks and Okada versus Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. Yeah, banger. And then the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. Fuck me.
Chris Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. Yeah, that's the match we've always wanted. That is the.
Is it now?
Yeah, that's what we always wanted.
Yeah,
we wanted to revisit the Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho feud. Yeah. Woo. No, but fucking Rampage. This is probably a fairly loaded Rampage.
Yeah, considering.
Yeah, like if you see the amount of stars you get on it, GYV versus FTR. They could go 30 minutes. They could like pay attention if they announce a time limit on that match, because they could go a draw. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to what's going on. I mean, I have not been as excited for the next week of wrestling as I am now in a while, and it all has to do with this Mox group and what they're doing. I call it the Killer BCC. And, so I'm looking forward to what's going on there. If Bryan Danielson shows up next week and has a reply, what happens with Willa Yuta? I imagine he's going to get beat on pretty good. So there's a lot of things here that it has opened up a lot of doors. And you know what? I like it as the top thing to worry about in AEW right now.
I agree. I think that's very fair to say. We just have a couple other headlines that we want to go on for before we close things out on this episode of All Things Elite.
Yes. Let's see. So AEW, I think it was like last week. It feels like 3 years ago when we heard this news. AEW files trademark for AEW Shockwave. Looks like a new TV show. Rumors, take them with a grain of salt. I want to say that. But the rumors are that they are in negotiations, and this show will be on Fox, maybe FS1. Me personally, I would like it to be like a morning or afternoon show on the weekends on Fox syndicated shows. That's what I would like. Because the reason being, right now, if you want to watch AEW and you don't have cable, you can't watch AEW, right? You have to go to YouTube and watch clips. But if they had a 1-hour show that was basically available over the air, they can help make new fans. That's literally, for a while, we had this gap in cable coverage. That's how I watched WCW. It was a syndicated show on Sunday mornings, and that's how I kept up with WCW for years. And then, of course, WWF Superstars for years we didn't have cable. So, yeah, I thought it would be good. I think it's a good sign. Again, grain of salt. It could end up anywhere. But, if AEW can get in on Fox and with that relationship, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, be a wild thing to happen considering. Shockwave's an interesting name, I will say. But regardless, more so I wonder, like you said, what this show is going to entail, and then also how this affects Collision. Like in terms of that type of stuff. But we'll see as more reports, I'm sure, will continue to come out about this rumored new show.
So the last thing is just a bit of personal stuff. Congratulations to One Nation Radio, our guys James Boyd and Rich Alada on making it 12 years in this podcasting space. As me and Austin often have times syncing up our schedules to do the show. The fact that you have made it 12 fucking years doing the show is something to be just marveled at. Like, dude, literally, I have not had a romantic relationship last that long. So, like, y'all are killing it in the game. Y'all are like one of my favorite shows, the funniest shows. I learn from James every week. We don't necessarily agree on what we like in wrestling all the time, but I learn from him. Rich is my boy. The dude is so like multifaceted and talented. Just someone I just enjoy being around. He has that aura, that energy of just being a cool person. So I love the show. I love how they bounce off of each other. If you ever need a good laugh, generally it's Tuesday morning, Monday night. You can stream it live on Twitch, but Tuesday mornings when it drops on the podcast network, you can listen to Rich and James, and you can tell they're seasoned. They know what their brand is. A lot of times they'll start with music, basketball, whatever, but it all ends with wrestling. It is probably the podcast that I can say that has most best been tailored to the personality of their host that I've ever seen. So I've definitely enjoyed the show. Here's to 12 more years, 13 more years, or forever. You both are great, and you're both, like I said, I learn from you every week.
Yeah, congratulations to the One Nation Radio folk. Amazing people, lovely people, and yeah, 12 years is a huge accomplishment. So you guys should be incredibly proud of what you've built.
Yes, absolutely. Did you have anything left?
That's all I have, man. I'm hoping that I go to sleep tonight and I wake up and I don't feel sick anymore. So we're hoping that's the case. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of All Things Elite. Apologies that the All Out review was a little bit later than we expected, but glad that you guys stuck out for this extra long episode. If you guys enjoy the show, continue to download it on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you choose to give us a listen to. Turn automatic downloads on, rate, review, subscribe, share us around with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish, and also follow us on Twitter at AT Elite Pod. You can also follow at Social Suplex, who make this show possible, and check out all the other great shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ, and Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. And Floyd can go ahead and take us home on this episode of All Things Elite.
I did a tweet on the 12th, and it said 2 words: be nice. So I'm going to leave you with that. Be nice. And whether it's home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.